Hello, this is Diganto, and welcome to the complete SAT Maths Review course, Heart of Algebra section, brought to you by Googolplex Academy. Prior, we went over linear equation word problems and how to analyze and solve them, but on the SAT, word problems might ask us to derive an inequality from a paragraph and solve that instead. Now, before we hop in, it's important to note that the steps to solving inequality word problems are virtually the same to solving equation word problems. So let's do a review of that first to make sure we know what we're working with. The first step to solving an equation or an inequality word problem is to understand what the question is asking for. Second, we have to pick out the important information in the word problem. Then we can make a linear equation or an inequality by using the important information we acquired. Note that we might need to actually assign a variable to an unknown value ourselves if the question didn't define it already. Finally, once we have a linear equation or an inequality, we can find our answer, which might be the equation or inequality itself, but it could be some portion of those as well, such as a specific variable. Got all that? If not, don't fret. Just click on the icon in the upper right-hand corner to watch our video on linear equation word problems, where we go into more detail on these steps. Otherwise, let's continue our study of inequality word problems with learning how to differentiate them from equation word problems. Some keywords or phrases that could give you a hint that you're working with an inequality word problem include at least, at most, no more than, greater than, fewer than, and other such terms. Now, these aren't absolute indicators by any means, but they can certainly save you a ton of time in quickly identifying what you have to do on that exam. All right, let's move on to a problem now. Neil is now the CEO of a car company. The company's expenditures must not exceed $300,000. There's a flat fee of $48,000 for running each of the 3 locations, and the cost of employee salaries of $20,000 per employee. How many employees can Neil hire without exceeding expenditure limits? Well, going through our steps, we need to find what the question is asking. Here, that seems to be the maximum number of employees Neil can hire without spending more than $300,000. Now, look at this part right here. We can tell that this is an inequality based on the term, the company's expenditures must not exceed $300,000. Must not exceed is just like saying the expenditures must be less than or equal to $300,000, just as long as it's not greater than that amount. Now for the next step, finding important information, this sentence here, we already know that's important. That's our upper limit for the company costs. The rest of the information seems to tell us what those company costs are. So there's a flat fee of $48,000 for running each of the 3 locations, and there's a fee of $20,000 per employee they hire. Great, we're now ready to build our equation, or in this case, an inequality. So the expenditures mustn't exceed $300,000. We can write that like this. $300,000 is greater than or equal to the expenditures. You can also write it like that if you would like. Now for the expenditures, we know there's a flat fee of $48,000 for each of the 3 locations in Neil's company. This can be written as 48,000 times 3. Additionally, the company must spend $20,000 per employee hired. Now, since we don't actually know the number of employees there are, we'll assign a variable. Let's say W, right, for the workers? Anyway, we can put this in the equation as 20,000 times W, adding that to the flat fee. And that's actually it. Now pause the video right here and take a moment to solve it. If you have any trouble at all, check out our Solving Linear Inequalities video for a complete review of how to solve inequalities by clicking that icon in the corner once again. Ready? Okay, let's see if you got it. Our final answer is 7.8. Did you get that? Because if you did, that's incorrect, and you might have gotten that question wrong on the SAT. Remember, in context, our answer is the maximum number of employees Neil can hire. He can hire at most 7, not 7.8 employees. Neil can't chop up his employees. Why would he do that? Neil would never do that. Of course he wouldn't do that. Why would he? So, to summarize, identify what the question is asking, pull out the important information, build an inequality to represent the situation, and then solve it to find the answer, whether you're supposed to find a variable or some other part of the equation or inequality. Don't forget to consider the context to make sure the answer makes sense, or else Neil will chop you up. Check the video description below to download more practice problems, and when you're done, click on the link within the document to see a video of those problems worked out. Email us at googolplexsatacademy@gmail.com for any questions at all, and check out our other videos and subscribe for more SAT prep. See ya.